One Piece continues with the release of chapter 1086, and there are some incredible mysteries revealed within this week's chapter. We have some fascinating shifts of power, as well as the destiny of several characters being revealed to be intertwining as One Piece continues with its incredible final arc. We pick up with where we had left off with the Reverie, as we see the fallout following the murder of Cobra and the disappearance of Vivi. We learn more about the sinister plans of Imu, as well as the new weapon that was responsible for destroying the Lulusia Kingdom. If you are loving the secrets that are being revealed in the latest chapters of One Piece, then you definitely don't want to miss my review and analysis for chapter 1086. Make sure you stick around until the end of the video, where I'll be speaking about a possible reveal of Shanks' father, who may or may not be the strongest swordsman in the world. We have so much to talk about, including Seraphim, Crocodile, Moriah and Doflamingo being revealed, as well as Imu possibly being an immortal king from 800 years ago. So without further delay, this is my review for chapter 1086 of One Piece. The chapter begins with the Reverie coming to an end and the truth about the death of King Cobra being concealed from the attendees. There is an uproar outside of the castle, with Igaram, Chaka and Pal looking for Vivi and King Cobra, who have mysteriously disappeared. On the ships carrying the monarchs who are departing from Mary Jo, there were some stowaways, as we see King Wapol and Vivi, who are hiding within the Aegis Kingdom ship. King Wapol is seen to inform Big News Morgans about their location, who then tells them that he will approach their ship under the guise of an interview, with the plan for King Wapol and Vivi to sneak into his vessel. He seems to be helping with the promise of breaking some big news about the life of a king which has been threatened. He is very excited about breaking this news. Meanwhile, on the Aegis Kingdom's ship, Vivi asks Wapol what he had seen, but he panics, telling her that she is the last person that he wants to tell. He tells her to just go back to her ship headed for Arabasta, but she refuses because she is dealing with CP0 now, so even if she regroups with the others, they will just take her back by force. She orders Wapol to hand her over the transponder snail because she wants to contact her father. Not knowing his fate, she assumes that he must be worried about her, but Wapol once again begins panicking, and he tells her that this is something that she absolutely mustn't do. Of course, he doesn't want to upset her by revealing what has happened to King Cobra during the Reverie. Meanwhile, we see CP0 members handing out flyers looking for the wanted individuals Sabo and Vivi. Jewelry Bonney is seen stowing away on the Tajin Kingdom ship, making her way towards Egghead Island, while more importantly, we see Sabo hiding on the Lulusia Kingdom ship, believing that he will be safe once he makes it to Lulusia. He is really badly wounded as he thinks back to Cobra's dying words, how he was ordered by him to survive at all costs, and in order to tell Vivi and Luffy the crucial information about the will of D. Eventually, the news spreads announcing the murder of King Cobra, as well as the disappearance of Princess Vivi. We are then taken to Mary Jo, where we see the infamous Gorosei discuss the fallout after this year's Reverie. Sabo appears to be an important point of discussion, as they state that he carries a checkered fate, because there is nobody else in the world who is surrounded by so many individuals who carry the will of D in their name. They are interrupted as they receive a call from Imu, who states that it is time to settle the Egghead Island matter. We see Imu in his now iconic flower room, as he tells them how he wants to use the weapon created by Vegapunk called Mother Flyam. The Gorosei agree that it needs to be tested to see if it's the real deal or not, and following their test of the weapon and the results that it yields, they will then determine the fate of Egghead Island. They propose to test it on the sea or a forest, but they then get an order from Imu to fire the weapon on the Lulusia Kingdom. One of the Gorosei states that there are a lot of inhabitants there, but Imu insists, as he states that he doesn't care. They immediately comply with his order, stating that the world moves by the will of the creator. He is asked why the Lulusia Kingdom, as Imu reveals that it's because it's close. Suddenly, after 20 years, Oda finally drops the full names of each of the Gorosei along with their roles within the Gorosei. Now, this has definitely been a long time coming. First, we have Saint J. Garcia Saturn, who is the military god of scientific defense, whose name was previously revealed as he had approached Egghead Island. Then we have Saint Marcus Mars, the military god of environment, and then Saint Topman Walkyrie, the military god of law, then Saint Ethan Baron V Nasujuro, the military god of finance, and lastly Saint Shepherd Jupiter, who is the warrior god of agriculture. Now it's interesting that he's a warrior god instead of military god. Now is this because Shepherd Jupiter is the strongest and he's the leader of the Gorosei? Well, this is yet to be revealed. All of the Gorosei are unanimous in their decision to destroy the Lulusia Kingdom, pointing out that the kingdom has shown signs of rebelling, and by destroying it with such an act of power will set an example for the other rebelling nations. After debuting their secret weapon by destroying the Lulusia Kingdom, they will be able to use it as frequently as they wish, and they will be able to put an end to any long-standing rebellions or conflicts. The scene involving the Gorosei and Imu ends with him ordering them with one final request, as he tells them that he wants Vivi. This once again follows the theory that Vivi may have a close resemblance to Queen Lili, who had betrayed Imu 800 years ago. Now, I did cover this more in depth in an early theory video that I've posted on the channel, so definitely check that out. Vivi may be a key component in rivaling Imu, especially if she carries the will of Queen Lili, and especially considering she is a carrier of the will of D in her name. Now, we catch up with the Marines, who are seen to be dealing with multiple revolutions across several kingdoms. Akainu is informed of revolts occurring from within the Tajin Kingdom and the Aegis Kingdom respectively. Several government-affiliated countries across the world have started revolutions following the abolition of the Seven Warlords system. However, as one means of controlling the population comes to an end, a new, more sophisticated means has arisen, as the Marines call upon the help of this seraphim in order to control the people. It is here that we get our first look at seraphim Doflamingo, Moriah, as well as Crocodile. While they look adorable in their tiny forms, the seraphim are not to be taken lightly, as we have seen on Egghead Island. They are in some cases even stronger than the actual individuals that they have been cloned after. Finally, the 1 month flashback ends as we return to the present day at the Kamabaka Queendom, during the meeting between Sabo, Dragon and Ivankov, where he was explaining the events of this year's Reverie to them. Sabo says that when he had arrived at the Lulusia Kingdom, he witnessed their monarchs get captured by the revolting citizens who had been waiting for them. He of course was welcomed with open arms by the citizens as a stowaway on the ship, and this is when he had first learnt about the news article stating that he was responsible for the murder of King Cobra, dubbing him as the Kingslayer. He was treated as a hero by the Lulusia Kingdom citizens, despite him wanting to reveal that he wasn't responsible for Cobra's death. He ended up swallowing the truth in order to fan the flames of rebellion, which were burning intensely within the kingdom at the time. There were many people in Lulusia who wanted to enlist into the revolutionary army. They were the ones that Sabo had brought back with him to the Kamabaka Queendom. While there, Sabo wasn't able to find a jamming transponder snail, so he was unable to contact them while in Lulusia. But as soon as he had set sail, he had made an indirect transmission to the revolutionary army. Now this call was most likely intercepted by the government, but the call was being relayed from the ship to Lulusia and then being sent to the Kamabaka Island. So to the world government, it had seemed as though Sabo was still in Lulusia while the call was being made, but in actuality he was already on the sea with the new recruits from the island. Ivankov confirms that it was during the call when the kingdom had been destroyed, leading to the incident that has been dubbed as the disappearance of the Lulusia Kingdom. Sabo confirms that there was a state of panic on his ship, as there were a lot of people who had left their families behind, who were forced to watch on helplessly as their homeland and loved ones were destroyed before their very eyes. Dragon understands how difficult this must have been for them, as he wonders just how on earth Lulusia was destroyed. Sabo explains that he had seen a huge shadow cover the sky above the island, and then in an instance the entire nation was wiped out. It's difficult for him to explain because it's unlike anything that he has ever seen before. One thing's for certain though, there was something pitch black flying in the clouds above Lulusia. Ivankov notes how Sabo had earlier spoken about an individual named Imu. He goes on to say that 800 years ago, among the 20 kings who had created the world, there was a king amongst them called Saint Imu from the Nerona family. Ivankov speculates that there is a way to make someone immortal, which we know is via the Opi-Opi-no-Mi fruit. Ivankov alludes to the Imu that Sabo had seen being the very king from the Nerona family from 800 years ago. If this is the case, then it proves that immortality can be achieved. Of course, he says that this just may be a coincidence, as they may just share the same name. But what is strange is that among the celestial dragons who arrogantly claim to be the descendants of gods, the one who actually holds the highest authority within the world, who the infamous Gorosei answer to is none other than this mysterious individual Imu. On a side note, Ivankov speaks about what Sabo had seen over the clouds of Lulusia, which had ended up destroying the kingdom. Assuming that this was in fact a weapon deployed by the world government, then it must be something that only Vegapunk would have been capable of creating. But Dragon, on the other hand, is doubtful, thinking that Vegapunk wouldn't create a weapon of mass murder like this. Ivankov then questions Dragon that if it wasn't a weapon created by Vegapunk, then what if it was an ancient weapon? Which they seem to agree would make sense if Imu is from the ancient times. While the revolutionaries themselves may not be aware, considering they are unlikely to know that Pluton is located in Wano, the only remaining ancient weapon which the world government may have in their possession can be Uranus. However, since Imu already confirmed that Mother Flame was created by Vegapunk, it is possible that the greatest scientist has created a replica of an ancient weapon. Or on the other hand, is this something new entirely? Despite having created this weapon, it is evident that Vegapunk has incurred the wrath of the Gorosei and Imu, with them targeting the weapon next towards Egghead Island. This of course is following the successful test on the Lulusia Kingdom. Just what did Vegapunk do to the Gorosei and Imu, and why do they want to destroy his home where the Straw Hats are currently located? The scene at Kamabaka Queendom ends with Dragon responding to Ivankov, confirming that the ancient weapons definitely exist, because they were told so by Robin. Dragon then brings up the question that is on everyone's mind. If the world government was in possession of a weapon capable of this much destruction, then why haven't they used it before? Because it would have put an end to so many events in the prior history of One Piece. Now the chapter ends with one final return to the Holy Land of Merijo, where we learn the shocking news that a celestial dragon has been executed. This information was not reported to the outside world, and the man who had passed the judgment allowing the execution is revealed to be none other than the former king of God Valley, the supreme commander of the Holy Knights, Saint Figerland Garling. The saint has an unusual appearance, with long hair and a long beard, which appear to be styled together in order to form a crescent moon shape. He looks very old and he wields a sword, which would be expected considering Dragon confirmed that the Holy Knights are one of the world's strongest fighting forces. We also see confirmation that the Revolutionary Army's offensive is already yielding results, as the celestial dragons in the Holy Land are moaning about the lack of food and bread, with only cake being available to them. Now this is possibly a reference to the famous phrase, "let them eat cake," which is often attributed to Marie Antoinette. This was supposedly said in response to the peasants of France starving from a lack of food during a famine. In the final panels, it is revealed that the celestial dragon who was executed was none other than Saint Donkyo Myosgard. We had seen him stand up and protect Princess Shirahoshi from Saint Charlos during the Reverie. We see his bloody body hanging from a pillar which resembles the shape of the symbol of the world government. The chapter ends with Saint Garling saying that those who protect trash are worse than trash. This chapter has had some incredible reveals, from the full names and roles of each of the Gorosei being shown to us, from being introduced to Seraphim, Doflamingo, Moriah and Crocodile, hints about Imu being an immortal king who is called Saint Imu from 800 years ago, who had originated from the Nerona family, and lastly the reveal of the leader of the Holy Knights, Saint Figerland Garling. Could Figerland Garling be Shanks' father? Does this confirm that Shanks has royal blood? How much influence and power does the Figerland family hold within Merijo? People have been claiming that because Saint Figerland Garling was revealed to be wielding a sword, and Mihawk is currently the strongest sword wielder, then this confirms that Mihawk is stronger than the leader of the Holy Knights. Well, I guess we will have to wait until Garling displays some feats of power before we can rule him out to be weaker than Mihawk. So this recent chapter of One Piece was released along with the news that Oda will be taking a 5-week break following the release of this week's chapter. While it's a 4-week break for serialization within Weekly Shonen Jump, it means that we have to wait 5 weeks for the next chapter. In an official statement he had released, he speaks about how much fun we have all been having with the final saga of One Piece, but he will need to be taking some time off in order to get a surgery for his eye. He reveals to fans that he has had a really bad astigmatism, which is when your eye is shaped like a rugby ball, so light ends up being focused in more than one place in the eye, leading to blurred and distorted vision, headaches, as well as eye strain. Oda even admits that everything looks blurry to him in his current state, and it has now started to affect his work. After having discussed the matter with the editor-in-chief at Shonen Jump, he has been told to get the surgery done. So hopefully after the surgery and some rest, he will be back with all new powered up eyesight. Oda even jokes that he may be able to even shoot laser beams from his eyes after the procedure. So it is going to be a long and agonizing wait for the next chapter of One Piece, but Oda's health definitely comes first. Following the incredible reveals in the recent chapter relating to Imu, the expansion of the Figureland family, as well as Vegapunk having created an ancient weapon replica, and the amazing new seraphim that was shown to us, I want to now know all of your thoughts on chapter 1086. We have had so many new details revealed to us in recent weeks that people have dubbed the last stretch of One Piece chapters as a lore piece. Oda really is revealing to us every secret that he's been keeping about One Piece during the final saga. I really am looking forward to reading all of your comments on this all new One Piece chapter, and lastly, thank you for making it to the end of this video, and I cannot wait to see you in my next One Piece video. If you enjoy my content, then you can support my channel through Patreon for as little as $1 a month, or even through YouTube by becoming a channel member. You will gain access to exclusive channel perks and a Discord server which I frequently use. So become a member of my Zero Division and be the first to know about my upcoming videos. And once again, thank you for sticking around till the end of the video, and whatever you contribute will mean a lot to me.